carefully to the information presented. Some of it may seem alarming, but these are trends, and the beauty of trends is that they can be altered by our own actions. So we ask you to act now and share this information with others. Please get involved and visit our website for all the handouts and how you can take the next step. To learn more about the information presented at the Economic Summit, visit the Cape Cod Chamber website at ecapechamber.com and click on our resource directory. Get involved in your town's financial well-being and share this information with others. The economic health of our children's future is at stake.
We also, today, I saw somebody slip in the back of the room, Representative Matt Patrick from Falmouth. I think you could stand up and say hello, Matt. And two former state representatives, Ruth Provost, who was now with the Boys and Girls Club of Cape Cod, is here. And Kathy Tian from their chamber staff is a retired state representative as well. Kathy? She's around. And I who wanted to be, Bill said. That's all right. That's history. I did want to move along with the program, and for the benefit of those of you who were hoping for the break to slip out, I think we're going to do away with the break and just keep going. And if you need to slip out, well, hopefully you won't miss too much. But we're going to move forward with our panel discussion, and we're bringing Peter Meyer to the podium, who will moderate a panel discussion. Peter, of course, is the president and publisher of the Cape Cod Times. Peter?
Well, I'm happy to stay here with our panelists for a minute. Bill Zammer, are you going to join us? Sure. Okay, great. Exactly. It was good to hear the Secretary's comments, and it's even better to know that we've got some bright people at the Governor's office working to solve some of our problems, or I should say issues, right? So we're going to get Bill wired here.
I am wired.
For better or for worse.
I'll get you.
Dick did say that we are going to bypass the break, so if we just file out as we need to, that'd be great. And if we were to do that, not all at the same time, that would be really good as well. We're going to take just a few minutes to talk about housing. And joining us right now are Aaron Gornstein from the Citizens Housing and Planning Association, along with Rick Presby, the CEO of the Housing Assistance Corporation, and of course you all know Bill Zammer. And we want to take a quick look from a regional, local, and business perspective of what the housing impact is. So Aaron, why don't we start with you? You've launched the Home at Last campaign in communities throughout the state. So how does the Cape's workforce housing issues compare to other areas of the state?
Well, we're a statewide nonprofit organization. We have launched two other campaigns similar to this, but one in the North Shore and the Metro West. Certainly the housing issues are acute there in terms of the lack of first-time home buyers be able to buy a home and the rents going up, even with the softening market. But down on the Cape, it does seem to be more acute in terms of the workforce issue. The wages tend to be lower here than in some other parts of the Boston area, and that definitely exacerbates the problem. But what we found when we were asked to work with the Housing Assistance Corporation is the people on the Cape want an action-oriented agenda. I think there's already tremendous awareness about the housing needs. That wasn't true in other parts of the state that we worked in. Here, you have a great partnership ready to go and want to really solve problems around the housing issue. And so that's why the Home at Last campaign, and the brochures are in the back, provide some very specific action steps for residents, for municipal officials, for business leaders, of concrete things that you can do. Because I think that's what people want to do on the Cape. They want to get together and solve problems and really move forward. So that's...
Aaron, you got a good sense from Peter in terms of what this means to an economy, say the Cape economy, for example. What's your feeling about that?
I think the housing issue is directly linked to the future economic prosperity of the economy throughout the state, not just on the Cape, but certainly in the greater Boston region as well. And that's why we think helping to tackle and solve some of these problems. And the other thing is we have some of the best examples of workforce housing in the country right here in Massachusetts. So the nonprofits and the private sector know how to build good affordable housing that fits into the community, and we need to try and replicate that more. So it's not reinventing the wheel, it's taking some of the best practices we already have and then really expanding them.
So from a regional perspective, how do we balance the public and private responsibility? I mean, where does it lie? Who's going to solve this problem?
Well, I think both have to step up to the plate, and we're glad to hear the Secretary say the state government is going to be here for the Cape to provide some housing funds. We need to do more of that. There needs to be a state commitment to providing funds for affordable housing. There needs to be a commitment at the federal level as well. The state can't do everything. But also the private sector and the nonprofits have to be also partners in that, and putting that all together is really will help, I think, make a huge difference.
Rick, you have some experience in that. So what are the unique challenges for the Cape?
Well, we heard a lot of those from Peter this morning. I think that the data that he came up with was, much of which many of us knew, was still shocking in the volume of concerns that we have, which are blocking progress in a lot of issues on the Cape. And you know, the key word is sustainability, because housing is one of the sustainability elements on Cape Cod. What we're going to have to do is come together as a population and make some very difficult decisions about how to spend our resource and how to use our money. I mean, one of the things that Peter said, and it probably is the first time I've ever heard this publicly, was that we've conserved enough land on Cape Cod. And I guess, while I'm not sure I agree with that or not, what I do realize is in the housing business, we look at land conserved all over the Cape, and we spend $100 million to conserve land. None of that land, even when appropriate, is used for the economic development or for housing. But yet, when we do housing developments, some of the land almost always has to be preserved, typically about 70%. And so that, from a public policy standpoint, that's always made sense to Cape Codders. But if you look at it from an economic sustainability standpoint, it doesn't. And one of the results of our need to have Cape Cod be single-family homes and retirement homes is we have essentially regulated, zoned out of existence multifamily housing. And that's a real problem because, as you all know, we all started in rental housing. When I got married, I rented a house, so did you. As we all know, and looking at the age of most of the people in this room, when we started out and bought our first home, the math worked. It was 2.5 times our income, something like that. And my own story was, I moved here with 3 kids in 1974. My wife stayed home. My income was $14,500. I bought a house for $28,800. That is not even close to being duplicatable today. So what does that say about the future of our community? Now, it's happening all across Massachusetts and all across America, but not to the degree it's happening here. We forget that Nantucket has led the way down this unfortunate path. Provincetown is close behind, but Cape Cod is close behind that. We need to make some changes and understand what's going on here to make these changes. Our organization, the Housing Assistance Corporation, has been working on this issue, and our mission is twofold. One, to make sure everybody has a decent place to live, and we want to run a lot of programs to try and do that. But second, to motivate the community to make the changes necessary to help make sure everybody has a decent place to live. And so our typical constituency historically has been churches. They supported it based on a compassion-based goal. But our constituency in the future has to be businesses, because the paradigm has completely changed. And so that's why I'm up here today, and I wouldn't have been up here 10 years ago. That's why I even look at our nonprofit and Aaron's nonprofit. We don't get our own mics, by the way. As being,
that was by design.
Yeah, I know, so you could grab the mic, you know. But we too are businesses that have the same sustainability issues that all other businesses have. We have, Housing Assistance Corporation has 125 employees, and it's probably in common with several businesses here. We have trouble retaining and attracting young employees. I started at Housing Assistance Corporation when I was 31 years old. Now 31 is like an unheard of age for people working for us. And so that we need to have people who are young on Cape Cod working here with their energies, people who go away to go to school, who go to community college, to stay here like Wendy did, as a matter of fact, and to provide important leadership in our community. And that's a key part of why housing is important.
Well, where do people turn today? Say an employee or an employer that's having problems bringing people in, attracting people to Cape Cod for help? Where do they turn for help to?
Well, obviously, that's a segue into the program that was announced today. The program essentially allows us to partner with employers to provide financial help to people to either attract them or to retain them from a rental housing or a home purchase point of view. It's a small program, but we need to find out if these kinds of approaches work as part of the whole list of approaches that we're considering. In the Home at Last campaign, and within that, the Business Roundtable's efforts on Cape Cod to create a plan of action. We have both a broad-based plan of action from the Business Roundtable standpoint, and we also have a housing plan of action that has a toolkit of zoning, proposed zoning changes, and which helps, is an attempt to get people to envelop or to understand that zoning is a critical economic development issue on Cape Cod. And it doesn't have to be that complicated when you look at a handful of initiatives that we can take which will make the Cape a better place. And Peter talked about one of those, and that is how you manage the accessory apartment issue. There's lots of approaches to that. It can be very helpful. Sandwich has taken one. Barnstable's taken a very different one. We need to look at those and understand them and understand how they fit into the future of Cape Cod.
Great. Bill? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have some firsthand experience as a business owner. Regarding affordable housing. Tell us how it impacts you and what you've done about it.
I was hoping you need to borrow mine.
Yeah.
Do you, Bill? It's okay.
Are you on?
My problem is I have 300
It's
or
your
so.
issue, really. It's
300
not a
or so
problem.
employees issue.
Yeah.
And I used to be a very soft-hearted, hard-hearted conservative, and there's two parts to this.
Oh, before you go on, I just want to say one thing, and that's that every panel today, because there's two more that follow this, right, can invoke the 36-second rule, okay? So anything they say, they have 36 seconds to retract or strike from the record. Okay?
Thank you.
So, and that goes for Bill.
And now I've moved more to the liberal side, and I've tried to help my employees as much as they can, not because I'm a nice guy, but because I have no choice. As I look at Tony Shepley, I look at Dorothy, I really have no choice any longer. I have 35 managers. Bill Catania over here has probably 100 managers, and we can't find new managers. They're not here on the Cape. We have to develop them ourselves. So if we do find a nice young or older person that we need to help out, we need to keep them here. And we find out that immediately they're ready to leave because they can't afford to be here, particularly if they want to start a family or do something. So because Rick pushed me into it, I landed up getting into a situation where a young man who wanted to buy a house, he didn't have quite enough money. By me giving him $5,000, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in their largesse, is going to give your tax money to him and give another $5,000. And it sounds like it's very liberal, but we have no choice. And I think this group, it's really amazing to see this group today, because this group, the awareness of this group and these kinds of programs are what's going to make it happen. I'm going to keep this kid. He's going to work for me for the next number of years. It's cheaper for me to do this than to go out and recruit. I mean, if I got to go put a recruiting situation in or ads in, what's his name's paper over here, they cost a fortune. So it's cheaper for me to do this program, and it's a great program. Is there anything else we're going to say? It's a paid political announcement.
I'll tell you what. Let's give Aaron one more shot at it here. I have just a quick. Any closing question? Any closing questions for Bill? No. Any closing remarks?
I first just want to thank the Cape Cod Times for the coverage that you have given the housing issue over the years. The op-ed in today's paper is just one example of that, but the media plays such an important role around the state in this issue and how it's covered. So I just want to commend you and your paper and for your involvement in this program.
Right. For the, I guess, the benefit or the sake of a quick discussion, a yes or no answer, Aaron.
Oh, you want?
Sure. Yes or no answer. Peter talked about basically abolishing, the restrictions on renting apartment space in one's home. In other words, dropping the zoning where single-family homes can be, not rented or segregated in terms of two homes. So what do you think? Should we drop restrictions on single-family homes and rent out rooms, apartments? Yes or no?
I wouldn't do it across the board. I think it's got to be done with the engagement of each local community. How about that one?
That's pretty good. Rick, what do you think? Because it sounds like a pretty good solution right out of the box, right? Boom.
We actually have some experience with this. We have a very non-restrictive accessory apartment law in Sandwich that's been on the books for a while, and we have a carefully crafted one in Barnstable that has a lot of requirements with it. What we should do is look at the effectiveness of those approaches. We don't have to fly blind here. We can see what's actually happened and how it actually looks in the community in place and make our best decisions. I mean, we're not trying to be crazy here and just do across the board things that have sort of unknown consequences. There are some knowns here, and that's what we need to go on.
Great.
I have one comment. The worst thing in the world in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is to be a landlord. The tenant-landlord rules very much lend themselves towards the tenant, and they had to be back years ago. Today, if you're a landlord, and it's very obvious why the decline in rental units are there, if a person doesn't leave there, they're actually paying them to leave in the event of an eviction. And that difficulty has gotten to the point where the little old lady at 65 years old who wants to rent her apartment, her other part of her house out, if someone's living there, she can't get them out when she wants to get them out. And so I think those laws, those regulations have to be changed.
Okay.
See, I didn't tell Bill to say that either.
Okay, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Please listen carefully to the information presented. Some of it may seem alarming, but these are trends, and the beauty of trends is that they can be altered by our own actions. So we ask you to act now and share this information with others. Please get involved and visit our website for all the handouts and how you can take the next step. To learn more about the information presented at the Economic Summit, visit the Cape Cod Chamber website at ecapechamber.com and click on our resource directory. Get involved in your town's financial well-being and share this information with others. The economic health of our children's future is at stake.